until I see it. All of your promises are yeah, amen.
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Coach Michael Lowman here, and I just want to welcome you to the second, well, really, part 1B episode of And Now I See. My brand new podcast. I'm really excited about it. I want to just to touch bases on the first episode. So the first episode, I had a very special guest. It was my daughter, my oldest child, my baby. She's amazing, Miss K Money. And we had a very, very poignant conversation, and it was very unscripted. It was really natural, it was raw, and I really didn't even give her much context, but I asked her a question. I asked her, look, just actually, just take a look for a second. So, daughter, let me ask you a question. You said that there were things that ultimately I'd share with people that would allow people to do something to change their lives.
Okay.
Tell me one lesson or one tip that you've gotten from me, or one experience where you've applied something and it's worked out in your favor.
That your imagination can become your reality.
Whoa, y'all hear this? Bomb dropper. So go a little bit more into that.
So pretty much you always want to put your mind into the space or whatever you want to apply to your life. You always want to put your mind in that space, so therefore you can receive whatever it is that you want. Don't put your mind into a negative, because if you put out negative, that's what you're going to receive. Always put out positive so that you can receive it.
My God, because everything is what?
Everything is
energy.
Energy, yes. That's
amazing, right? And her answer about the imagination just kind of really blew my mind. And I wanted to take some time to really dig into it today. And also, we talked about what it would take for a father who may not have the best relationship with his daughter, what it would take for that relationship to be mended. So today we're going to have a lot of fun. I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And also, I just want to give you a really quick background on why it is that I do what I do. So I love coaching. I love sharing. I love teaching. I'm very well versed at the things that we'll be talking about here on this podcast. Some of you know or may not know, but I recently went through a life event due to diabetic retinopathy, and then some, I don't know, maybe some botched surgeries. But back in October of 2023, I lost my sight. And it's been an interesting journey from that point to now. But there has been a major transition from that time to now. And that's why I named the podcast And Now I See. Because there were lessons that my mentors tried to teach me that I couldn't see when I had my sight. But it was after I lost the ability to see with my eye that I began to really see life as what it could be. Not what it is, because what it is only a manifestation of what was. Yeah. What it is only a manifestation of what was. So, getting back on track, getting back to the imagination. There are 6 higher mental faculties that you're going to hear me talk about. And I learned these 6 mental faculties from my mentor, Bob Proctor. And these 6 are the imagination, intuition, memory, will, perception, and reason. Now, the imagination You're going to hear me talk about this. The imagination is the greatest power on earth. Fact of the matter is, you have the ability to build a picture of what it is that you desire, focus your energy on that picture, and you have the ability to see that thing show up in your life. And it's just really been amazing. And as we talk about mentors, Bob Proctor was a very amazing mentor to me. And what's interesting was the way that I actually got a chance to be a coach at the Proctor Gallagher Institute. I met Bob. Well, I ran into Bob's work, of course, when Bob was with The Secret, right? And I think this is where everybody fell in love with Bob Proctor. And I began to study. I began to study Think and Grow Rich. I began to study Wallace D. Waddles, The Science of Getting Rich. I began to study psycho-cybernetics. Everything that Bob mentioned, I began to study. And I just began to fall in love with the journey of personal development. And there was a time when I was doing some work and I was working as a marketing consultant for Proctor Gallagher coaches. And one of the coaches invited me on a training that Bob was doing for her and her group. So I'm on the training, and it's amazing, very intimate group, maybe 15, 20 of us. And Bob has, we came towards the end, and for some reason, whatever the reason was, she was playing around, and she said something like, "Well, Bob," because Bob was like, I'll be willing to help anybody. So she says something like, "Well, can I call you?" And Bob was like, "Sure, 44444." I'm like, "Hold on, what is Bob Proctor giving his phone number out on this recording?" So I say to him, like, "Okay," I write the number down. And I call him a couple of days later. Tell him who I was. He placed me with his marketing team. I did a little bit of work with them for a couple of weeks. Then from there, that ended, and I went to the next thing in my business, and things started going a little rocky in my business. So a couple months later, I actually gave Bob a call, and I'm like, "Bob, I'm having this really hard time in my business. Do you have anything to suggest?" He said, "Well, what do you like to do?" I said, "I love to coach, I love to teach, and I love sales." He said, "Do you think you can do those things here?" My response was, "In my sleep." And you always hear Bob talk about the Andrew Carnegie Napoleon Hill story, right? Where Carnegie gave Napoleon 60 seconds to answer the question, and he answered it in 26 seconds. Well, I didn't need 6 seconds. I said, "In my sleep." Bob said, "Okay, call DP, tell DP." DP was the vice president of sales at the time. Big shout out to DP. DP says, Bob says, "Call DP, tell DP you want to work with him." So I give DP a call, send him a text. He texts me back and say, I'm busy right now. I'm in the middle of an event and I can't call you right now. I'll call you next week. So I said, okay. Bob Proctor called me back. Said, "Did you talk to DP?" I said, "Yeah, he said he'd call me next week." Bob said, "All right, I'm going to message DP." Next thing I know, DP is texting me saying, "I'll call you in an hour." Right? And it was what they call, it was fate from that point on. And it was just amazing. The only thing that I regret, if I have any regrets, is that I never had the opportunity to stand next to Bob, because when we met during COVID. So I've spoken to him on the phone many times. We had many conversations. We had many conversations via Zoom. and it's just been an amazing time. So I tell you that story just to let you know that I'm standing on the shoulders of giants when I speak about the things that I'm going to be speaking with you about. I've also worked and been mentored by Les Brown and the great Harrison Klein, also Valencia Daniel, who is a very special teacher, speaker, and coach, woman entrepreneur. I've also had some interaction and some mentoring by Manny Fernandez and Jeff McCollum. The list really goes on, but these are the individuals who have really shaped my life. And if it had not been for the power of imagination, I don't know if I would have had the opportunity to actually do the things that I have done in this world. So I just want to let you know that you can do all things. There's nothing that you are held back from. It's funny because Bob would always say we're only limited by poverty of imagination and weakness of attention, or weakness of attention and poverty of imagination, right? So I want you to just understand the imagination is your ability to bring something that does not yet exist in the physical realm, create a picture, and bring that thing to life in the natural. If that's not godlike, I don't know what is. And I didn't want to have any guests today because I just wanted to do a deep dive into what this power actually is. And one of the other questions I talked to my daughter about is if there's fathers out there who don't have such a great relationship with their daughters right now, what could they do? How can they use this power that we have to actually correct some of the things that went wrong? And I just want to tell you, you can do this by building a picture, getting a picture of what it is that you desire, becoming emotionally involved with it. And you want to implant that picture into the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is amoral, meaning whatever you give to it, it will give to you back in abundance. Earl Nightingale said you could plant roses so you could plant nightshade. You could plant something beautiful, you could plant poison. It doesn't matter. You're going to have the ability to bring it forth. So just understand that you have the strength, you have the power, you can create. I want to give a big shout out to my man Jay Rich, 12-figure business owner. We started playing around with numbers, and we started playing around with vision, and he came back with the 12-figure vision. And he's locked in on it like a dog on a bone. And you're going to see a lot coming out of from Jay Rich Films and coming out of his camp. And, we have a lot going on. We have a clothing line getting ready to drop, 12 figures. And listen, we want you to come along for the ride. We want you to come along for the ride. So if you're out there and you're struggling, you're having financial issues, you're having emotional issues, you're having family problems, understand that building a picture, getting emotionally involved with it, and walking towards it. Now listen, you're going to have to take action. This is not a think it and it's going to pop up. You have to take action. Listen, people, I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you for listening. I just want you to know that you can find me on Instagram at Coach Michael Lowman. No underscores, no funny asterisks, just Coach Michael Lowman, Lowman. And listen, send me a message. Send me a message that says imagination, and I'm going to send you a free audio on the 6 higher mental faculties. is going to really blow your mind. I received it from my mentor and coach, Bob Proctor, when I was at the Proctor Gallagher Institute. Bob would always say, freely give and generously receive. So it was freely given to me, so I'm going to freely give it to you. So just type imagination or 6 higher mental faculties in my messages and leave me your email, and I will get that over to you. So listen, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close out. Just understand you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. And I just want you to remember that without sight, you can definitely make it. But without a vision, you'll definitely perish. All right, God bless you. Peace.
Everything that you said, I'ma believe it until I see it. All of your promises are yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah,
amen.
yeah.